So we'll be talking about Six Sigma benefits, examples of implementations, introduction to basic statistics, because I know you are all accountants, you love numbers. I will emphasize a lot on the numbers part, not talk about the generic management part. Almost all of you are very much aware of the change management and all that stuff, although they are also very, I really love to talk on change management and have written books on it as well. But I'll focus totally on data analysis, etc. And of course, a little bit of applications in different industries, including finance. I'll try to do a project also, a very simple project. We'll choose some simple project, which and whatever tools which we would have learned, I'll try to apply those tools and techniques. And if time permits, we'll have a lot of time for discussion. Otherwise, I just wanted to know, like, is there any very set time to when we have to stop, or a little bit of extension is allowed? So accordingly, I will manage my time. Just to tell about the organization, we have trained 150,000 people thanks to this internet boom. And although no one thanks the pandemic, but I'll just tell, in case of increasing our numbers, of course, this has contributed a lot. Our mission is enabling individuals and organizations achieve excellence. And since 2006, we have been doing this. I've been introduced already. I also write poetry, by the way. And yes, written a book as well. So I'll just move on, done lots of training around the world. This is a very interesting, I will tell you, this was the first ever black belt training session conducted anywhere in Middle East. And I am proud to tell that, I was the person who conducted that session. And this is an Indian Engineers Forum for the last, first program was conducted in 2008. Then Indian Physicians Association also, I conducted some program. Now Chartered Accountants is remaining. So I think maybe I can initiate this with you. So Indian Engineers Forum, we have trained around 300 engineers over the period of last 14 years, I think 13 years now, 13 years. And that is Indian Engineers Forum in Riyadh and Jeddah and Dammam I'm talking about, and also in UAE. Yeah, so one thing, in China, we have exported our services, not imported, for a change. Everyone imports from China. We have exported our services to China. In China also, we have done the trainings. Won some awards from various places, appeared on TV shows, etc. And also, this was a case study I presented for a bank. So this was a case study.
On 21st of May 2019, I'm going to speak in American Society of Quality's World Conference in Fort Worth, Texas. I'm going to talk about how one of the fields in artificial intelligence, robotic process automation, or RPA, can be used to support process improvement initiatives along with Lean and Six Sigma. We will see how this combination leads to improved productivity, improved quality, and reduced costs. Using a case study from a bank, I will share a roadmap to leverage the capabilities of existing quality programs like Six Sigma with RPA to produce better results. So see you there on 21st of.
Anyway, and one more thing that just to quickly tell you, railways.
It's an honor to have railways as our client. Anexas को बड़ी खुशी है कि हमारे पास रेलवेज हमारा एक क्लाइंट है, और सबसे मज़े की बात यह है कि रेलवेज को जो सप्लाई करता है डीजल, भारत पेट्रोलियम, वो भी हमारा क्लाइंट है। और जो कैरेजेस बनते हैं, जो डब्बे बनाए जाते हैं, BEML बनाता है, और BEML भी हमारा क्लाइंट है। और स्टील अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया जो व्हील्स बनाता है, जो
anyway, this was just to tell you that Lean Six Sigma is applicable everywhere, including banking and finance. In Hindi also, I keep writing Dainik Bhaskar. I am a column writer, a weekly column writer, where I talk about process excellence, improvement again. So this translates to find the root causes. Talashein wajah mushkil, diqqat hogi hal, means you will get the problem solved. And that's what we are going to talk about today. Okay. Just to tell you that, these are a lot of companies. Al-Futem Finance, we have done a rollout of Lean Six Sigma in their whole finance department, along with other departments also. Bank Muscat, UAE Exchange, of course, Australia UAE Exchange, I would say. Unimoney, and a lot of other clients, AXA, etc. They have been, beneficiaries of Lean Six Sigma. Now, what Lean Six Sigma does for a company, for all companies, it reduces the costs, reduces the errors, defects, waste. Now, we are not talking about the waste which we throw in the dustbin. We are talking about the waste which is present in the processes, like rework. Rework is a big waste. Around, there is 20 to 30% of the rework. The time spent in every financial institution, not only financial institution, every company, including the finance department of the company, when you are working. A lot of waste is there. In Deloitte, I was consulting for Deloitte in Sharjah, and of course in Riyadh also. They have got offices in Saudi Arabia also. So these people had traveled there to attend the trainings in Sharjah. At that time, I had mentioned, program was 2 years ago. I was telling that you're traveling from Riyadh to here is a waste. The transportation is a waste. There's so much of waste present in the whole industry that if you just, the same thing can be achieved online as well. And those 2 years ago, I used to convince people, they were not listening. And today it is proven. How we know that, traveling is a big waste. Of course, we are not saying that about psychological impact of traveling and attending and meeting each other. That's a different thing. But when you are thinking from customer's perspective in Lean and Six Sigma, you have to think from value, from the point of view, the value of the customer. What is the value customer is deriving from this, from your service? Look from the perspective of customer, and you will identify that customer has identified a value. And then if you're following, let's say 20 steps to achieve that value for the customer, you will always find that many times out of 20 steps, 15 to 16 steps are non-value added, and 70 to 80 to 90% of the time is spent in non-value added activities. Okay, I can't give too much details in the short time of 1 hour 45 minutes, but whatever I can talk about, I will quickly talk about it. Cycle times can be drastically reduced of all the activities in your company, and rework, as I already told you, is anything starting with is a waste. Approval, so many approvals. We all know how important is approval in our business. Lot of audits. You can reduce the number of audits drastically. Number of audits, time taken to complete the audits, then a lot of times you will find that you have been doing certain things for the last 5 or 10 years, fully knowing that these steps are not required, but because somewhere it is mentioned as a compliance. Lean Six Sigma even encourages you to challenge that particular step and speak to the authority. And we have done this. We have done this with some of the process steps in UAE government. So we were able to convince, because a good thing is that UAE government has also attended our training programs, Lean Six Sigma training programs. A lot of people have attended. Minister of Health, by the way, Saudi Ministry of Health, UAE Ministry of Health, all they are also our clients and customers. Even the Health Minister of Saudi Arabia and Health Minister of India, both of them have attended our training programs. So we were able to convince the authorities to reduce the number of audits and approvals, because they realized the step which was designed 20 years ago, 10 years ago, had no value today. And you also know, there are so many steps. All these things to be removed from the process. That is known as Lean. So we are talking about Lean, and I'll talk about what is Lean in Six Sigma. Six Sigma we'll talk in detail, because I told you, you are chartered accountants. I'd love to teach you a lot of data analytics, etc. So all of this will improve quality, production efficiency, productivity, customer satisfaction, capacity, profitability, etc. It all started in Motorola. Mr. Bob Galvin, the CEO of Motorola, he wanted to improve everything by 5 times in the organization, and he took this as a challenge, and he invited suggestions. How could he do that? Bill Smith and Michael Harry, the two engineers, said that why don't we convert the improvement opportunities, or wherever we have customer complaints, why don't we convert into projects and allocate these projects to the people? And they came out with that idea. In fact, they themselves were doing it. But when Bob Gelvin wanted 500 projects to be done in the company, then they devised a methodology called DMAIC, Define, Measure, Analyze, Improve, and Control. And they said that we will train the people in these tools and techniques, in which today you are also going to be trained. So we will train them in tools and techniques. We'll train them in, many of you might be knowing Pareto Chart or cause and effect diagram. So maybe I'll begin with some simple basic tools, and then we will move on to some so-called advanced tools. For you, they may not be so advanced, but not naturally, today we'll keep the things a little simpler. So Bill Smith and Michael Harry, they devised this methodology, DMAC, and they said that people who will be trained in these tools and techniques like ANOVA, chi-square, regression analysis, and Pareto and cause and effect diagram, they will be given improvement projects. And once they improve the processes in their organization, in their departments, they will be allocated, given a green belt project or green belt certification. You'll be known as green belt because you'll be able to solve any quality problem, and you can fight any quality related problem in any industry. So that is why you'll be designated as a green belt or black belt. So GE really liked that approach, and GE told their employees that if you are not a green belt, you will not be promoted. So everyone wanted to become a green belt. Then they started telling their suppliers that if you want business from GE, you need to implement Six Sigma. So suppliers also implemented Six Sigma. They also realized a lot of benefits. Indian companies like TCS and Wipro, they used to supply software in late 1990s to GE. So GE also had mandated them that please implement Six Sigma. So they also implemented. So they became the first company in India to implement Six Sigma. And of course, after that, it spread like wildfire because a lot of companies, they got excellent benefits. Now, I will tell you in very brief, if you allow me only 2 to 3 sentences, if you tell me just 2 to 3 sentences, tell me what is Lean and what is Six Sigma. So I will tell you, I'll just tell you that definition. I'll talk about the definition. And of course, after that, I'll be explaining it for next 1 hour. So Lean, what is Lean? Lean is map the process as is. As is means we call it as Gemba investigation. Gemba is, in Japanese, means go to the field, go and see how people are working, how they are performing. When the person opens an Excel sheet, then he clicks on this button, then he clicks on that button, then he fills in this data, then he copies this data from this. Now, everything needs to be captured and identify the 7 wastes in those in that whole process. Easily you can find those wastes. Try to reduce them as much as possible and reduce the cycle times and errors. This is Lean. So in short, Lean is do a Gemba investigation, means perform as is process analysis. After that, identify the waste in the system and then reduce the cycle times and errors in the process. That is in short in Lean. The 7 wastes. Now, I will come to the Six Sigma definition in short. Well, if you allow me to discuss about the 7 wastes a little bit more in detail. So some of the wastes are overproduction, waiting time, transportation, overprocessing, inventory, rework, rejection, errors, reworks, rejection. I committed a mistake. Again, I'm redoing it. Anything starting with re is a defect. Underutilized resources. A chartered accountant doing something which anyone else can do. A lot of things are, see, some of the reports which you are making can be done by someone else. Much of your time is just spent in replying to routine emails. Collectively sit down together, hold a meeting. I'm telling you, many of your, almost whole management will agree that many of the emails are not required. Many of the reports are not required. Because 6 years ago, one manager who had joined 6 years ago, he wanted a report. And because of that, you have just included that report. And for the last 6 years, you have been giving this report to 20 different people in the organization. It is all waste. In one of the organizations, in I think Bank Muscat, if I remember, they said, we have a lot of reports. I said, let's stop reports for 1 week. And let's say if you have 200 reports, stop all the reports for 1 week. And whoever asks for that report, or where is that report, that means they were looking at the report. Otherwise, others are just, it's all. So jokingly we did it, but actually we were able to find that out of 200 reports, only 30 or 40 reports were important and were seen by some people. Remaining were just being made. No one knew why. So these are kinds of waste which we are dealing with. And these are some very, very simple things which you can implement. Now, Six Sigma is a little bit, it requires a little bit of understanding of data analytics and statistics. So what is Six Sigma? Six Sigma is about reducing the variation in your products and services. So customer always trusts an organization which has less variation. Say, for example, if you want to go to you are going to buy a car. I'm taking a simple example. First, I'll start with simple example, then we'll move to the complicated example. So if I'm going to buy a car, and the sales person tells you that, well, I've got 10 cars. This car is a little bit, the brake is a little bit having an issue, but the speed is very good. The other car, speed is like limited, but the brakes are excellent. The third car, you will say, no, you definitely not like this variation. Or look at some of the McDonald's or any, say, franchisee which are supplying food. So let's say McDonald's. If you go to McDonald's, every time you'll find, you go to New York, Saudi, Bahrain, UAE, any country, India, China, Thailand, Australia, wherever you go, you'll find almost same kind of service. Now, this less variation is improving the predictability of the outcome of the process, which builds trust in the minds of the customer. So I know if I give this bank some job, or if I want to open an account with this bank, it will take not more than 2 hours. Now, 2 hours is predictable. 2 hours mean 2 hours, 2 hours plus minus 15 minutes. But if I have a bank, and there are some banks, maybe you'll take one day, maybe 6 hours. Sometimes it will take 6 hours. Sometimes it will take 6 days also. Sometimes it will take like 15 days. No, it depends on the case. Now, you won't like such a bank. So any organization which is giving you predictability, means less variation in either product or service, is you are going to trust it more. And then every process has got what we call it as control limits. I'll explain to you what is control limits. So every process has got a control limits. All your processes in your organization, like it can be account closing time taken to close accounts, your account receivables, your everything, whatever you are, whatever are your KPIs. And you can tell me some of the KPIs you are managing. It will be a good idea. I can take one of the examples of one of the KPIs which you might be maintaining in your organization. I'll take an example of that KPI. Any of those KPIs, whenever you are talking about a KPI, key performance index, it has a control limit. What is a control limit? It has an average and it has a standard deviation. Okay, many of you might be aware of standard deviation, and it's very easy to calculate standard deviation. And Mr. Goss told us that almost all the processes, all the repetitive processes in the world, they follow normal distribution. This is known as normal distribution. So what we see here is normal distribution. Yeah. And he also found that on an average, if I want to, okay, let me draw it here. Okay, can you tell me any one KPIs? Anyone can just say loan processing time. Okay, so let us take up loan processing time. And so can you tell me, I collected the data. Now, can you tell me on an average, what is the loan processing time? Just give me some number, which
1 week.
1 week. So now when I talk about weeks, I will always measure in days. When I'm interested in days, I'll measure in hours. This is something to do with measurement system analysis to increase the resolution. understanding the process. So I will measure in number of days. Now, number of days, one loan took 7 days, another loan took 8 days, another took 6 days, another took, let's say 5 days, another took 9 days and 10 days and 11 days and 7 days and 7 days and so on and so forth. It will definitely have an average and it will definitely have a standard deviation. It's very easy to calculate standard deviation. Don't even worry about it. Let's take it is 7 days. Average, we call it as X bar. Okay. We call it as X bar. Now, Mr. Gauss, he found all the repetitive processes in the universe. They follow normal distribution. So our loan processing time also will follow that bell-shaped curve of normal distribution. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, plus. So here 1 sigma, 2 sigma, and 3 sigma. Minus 1 sigma, minus 2 sigma, minus 3 sigma. Plus minus 3 times standard deviation lies 99% of the population. Population means all the loans processed by my company. All the loans processed by my company will take how much time? Now let us say I collected the data and I found that average is let us say 7 and standard deviation is, let us say, to make easy calculation, let us say 1. Standard deviation is 1. I can easily predict that all the loans processed by you, 99% of the loans processed by you will be between, so plus 1 sigma becomes 7 plus 1 times standard deviation. Standard deviation is how much? 1. Okay, so this becomes 8. 2 times standard deviation, 9 and 10, and then 6 and 5 and 4. So I can predict 99% of your loans are being processed between 4 days to 10 days. We call this as lower control limit and upper control limit, LCL and UCL, lower control limit and upper control limit. And if I just draw, this is a chart, I can get my control chart. Lower control limit, upper control limit, LCL. Lower control limit is 4, and upper control limit is 10. So I will just find that almost all your loans are, some loans are taking 5 days, 6 days, 8 days, 10 days, 9 days, 5 days, 4 days. Now here, many times, operations manager, the loan processing manager, loan processing department head, sometimes makes such mistakes. What mistakes they make? Let me tell you. They will say, let's say a person is monitoring, let's say weekly average loan processing time. He's monitoring average weekly loan processing time. This week, wow, we have made it best ever. 5 days this week, we were able to achieve 5 days. Great, superb. Let us have a cafeteria, let us have a celebration in the cafeteria. Everyone comes together. What happens afterwards? Next week, it goes to 7 days. Oh, I think recognition has backfired. Well, maybe let's see what happens. Oh, next week it's gone to 9 days. Oh no, we need to take an urgent action. Let us hold an emergency meeting. What's going on? We were able to achieve 5 days. Now, how come it is 9 days? Explain. Lots of questions asked. Some person gives some reason. Oh, because of this issue, that issue. Yes, please take care. Otherwise, we'll take strong actions. Next week, it goes down to 6 days. The manager thinks the strong action or the threat which was issued in that meeting really did work. Oh, my dear friends, a green belt or a black belt will say, well, 4 to 10 days is the natural variation of the process. And this is known as voice of process. Imagine as if your process has a voice. This is how your process is telling, hey, I'm going to deliver the loans between 4 to 10 days. You may want whatever you want. Your customer may want whatever. I don't listen to the customer. I listen. I am the process. I listen to whom? I don't listen to the customer. I listen to your policies, the procedures, the way you have trained, the kind of systems you have, the kind of softwares you have, the kind of policies you have, the kind of standard operating procedures you follow. All these things, they are responsible for 4 to 10 days. And next month also, next month, 2 months, 3 months, 5 months, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 5 years, I will continue to operate between 4 to 10 days. Happily, predictably. I would say the process is under control. Here, the process is under control. But suppose your customer tells, customer is definitely not happy with this. Obviously, customers gives you a limit, or your competitors. See, limit can come from competitors, customers, whoever. This is the voice of customer. Please process the loan in 3 days. Please process the loan in 3 days. Now, statistically, we say that process is under control. This is under control. Nothing is going beyond 10 or below 4 days. We say process is under control. Let me tell you one more thing before I move ahead. If I go back to this process between 4 to 10 days, suppose a manager asked me, and if I'm a green belt or a black belt or a LeanSixSigma person, the process improvement mindset, the statistical thinking guy, suppose my manager asks, last week it was 5 days, now it has become 7 days. Tell me the reason why. My answer would be, first, I will tell him, don't waste my time in asking these questions. This is loan processing time, loan processing time. And these are the X factors, so many X factors. There can be documentation issue. This can be location issue. Location, I have got 3 branches, one in Bahrain, one in UAE, one in India. It depends on the branch also. Sometimes some branch takes less time. Okay. Location. Sometimes the manager who is processing, who is in charge of them, that is also. So many things, whether the documentation is done, reports are correct. We call them as X factors. And what we are trying to improve is known as Y. Y and X. We say that Y is function of X. We say Y is function of X. Y is function of X. Means your loan processing time depends on the manager, location, documentation, the type of loan, the type of industry you are coming, or it is personal loan, or it can be type of loan also, personal or corporate. It can be anything. So many factors are impacting. So my answer would be, if you ask me the question, okay, why 5 days this week and next week 6 days? Why? I'll say it is due to all the causes are acting on my systems. All the causes are acting on my systems and producing this variation. And I will continue to produce this variation. Common cause. We say, I am under the influence of common causes. Common causes of different colors. Different rainbow, like sometimes this, sometimes I can't tell you specifically this is happening because of this. No, it is my natural variation. I will continue to behave. Don't ask me questions. Why? Okay, it is due to SOP. My answer would be standard operating procedure, documentation, location. All these are contributing collectively, commonly, and producing this variation. But suppose one loan took, let us say, one loan took 25 days. Now I ask you a question. Why 25 days? Well, there is a special cause. There is a special cause. And I can assign the special cause to any one X factor, any one X factor. And here the operations manager comes into picture. Here the person in charge of that operation will take an action. Well, something happened and well, we'll take care of you. take care of that part. This is what is known as special cost. Special cost. This is known as special cost. So the process is under two types of causes. We need to differentiate. If you behave like a person, if you 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, you're jumping around on that, holding meetings and questioning people, you are wasting your time, wasting your company's time. And when this happens, when 25 days happens, you don't have any energy left to take an action. You say, oh, I can't do anything with this organization. But, my dear friends, these green belts and black belts, they don't worry about the special cause. Special cause means like that Mahatma, okay, yeah, it will happen. Once it happened, it will come down. Don't worry. Yeah, it will be okay. Everything will be all right. Under common cause. See, control limits. Control limits, if it is within. Now, control limits doesn't mean that you are performing really well, as I told you. Control limits, your company, your process is under control limit, doesn't mean that you are performing really good. It just means you are predictable in nature. And if it is going out on below the control limits, you can assign a cost. But now coming back to our voice of customer. Voice of customer. What is voice of customer? 3 days. So the process improvement expert's job would be, and that's what, you learn some tools and techniques which will bring your process to a new standard, new level with new control limits. So on an average, my average is 1.5 days with a standard deviation of, let's say, 0.5. So it become 2, 2.5, and 3. And here it's going to 0 days. So 0 to 3 days I'm taking now. And consistently, I'm now behaving between 0 to 3 days. Bringing this process is like changing the DNA of your process. And this will happen only using DMAIC tools of LeanSixSigma. It doesn't mean the LeanSixSigma. There's any good statistical tool analysis, in-depth analysis, data-oriented analysis will only bring your process from that stage to this state. It can be anything. It can be sales also. If it is sales, you would like to increase this process. Like you would like to increase your limits. You'd like to go to higher limits, higher productivity. So depends on what is the voice of customer. Your revenues, your revenues, your compliance, your errors, your mistakes during the audits, the non-compliances in your process. All these things. Everything has a limit. Everything has a control limit. You collect the data for the last 6 months, for last 5, 6 audits, 10 audits, and internal audits maybe. You'll find on an average, we have say 5, 6 non-compliances. Like if I use the same data, on an average, we have 7 non-compliances. As it goes as high as 10, sometimes to 4 to 10 is like, that's how we operate. I want to change the way we operate. DMAIC, define, measure, analyze, improve, and control is going to help you. What we have learned is, we have learned normal distribution, we have learned average and standard deviation. I have not talked about how to calculate the standard deviation, etc. We also derive the equation of the standard deviation in our class. It's very easy. If you are interested, you can watch my videos where I have explained in my Anexas channel, Anexas Europe channel, Anexas channel in YouTube. By the way, I would love to connect with such elite people, all chartered accountants on my LinkedIn profile. So you can send me a LinkedIn request. So I'll be happy to get connected with you. You'll find a lot of chartered accountants. My friends are there. If you're interested, there are a lot of tools and techniques. Every week I release 2 videos of some tools and techniques, sometimes FMEA, failure modes and effects analysis, very much used in compliance related, audit related issues, very much used to improve any process, to prevent the failures of the process. So there are lots of tools you will find. And once you become your LinkedIn on LinkedIn, and also I've got a Facebook page as well of Anexas company. And if you want to personally like on the page, like Facebook page, my name as well, a company name also. Please stay connected. Definitely, you'll see all these things. I keep talking. Every day I make two, three videos and I post it on. मैं बड़ा बोर करता हूँ लोगों को, कभी साइपॉक के बारे में बता रहे हैं, कभी प्रोजेक्ट चार्टर के बारे में बता रहे हैं, कभी स्टैंडर्ड डिविएशन के क्या, what are the uses of standard deviations. So you will you will learn a lot. Okay, coming back, what we have learned: average, standard deviation, normal curve, control charts, special cause, common cause. Okay, and if you want to shift the process, then you need to do a structured process improvement approach, DMAP. Now, let me tell you, before I go into the details of the basic statistics and tools and techniques, the data analytical tools which you will be using, let me tell you, in an organization, like there are two ways of implementing DMAC or Lean Six Sigma in an organization. One is top-down approach. So one is top-down approach. Top-down means I convince the senior management, the CEO and the senior most 5-6 people that really Lean Six Sigma works for you. And if you read my book, I have, I'm not carrying that right now, but in the first chapter talks about that only, and how I convinced CEO, to go for Lean Six Sigma implementation. So what we do is, let's say for any company or any organization, we ask the CEO, tell me your 5 top problems. And then they tell you that these 5 problems are, I've got these 5 top problems. We convert these 5 problems or 10 problems. If they have got a lot of resources, a lot of patience to do projects, we ask them 10 problems. We convert these projects, these problems into improvement projects. What is the definition of a project? Project has got a starting point. It has an end point. It doesn't exist after some time. Project is a one-time activity. So, by the way, I also conduct project management training, PMP training. We are also authorized institute of PMI of US. So we also conduct PMI sessions as well. Now, so what is the definition of project? It is a starting point. It is an end point. It doesn't exist after some time. So I want to reduce the loan processing time in my bank or in my company. What I would do? I will convert this into a project and assign this project to some people. And then I will choose 5 projects, 10 projects, depends on the organization. So I'm talking about top-down approach. Bottoms-up approach is like what we are doing right now. Individually, you get trained as a green belt or a black belt. And then it's your choice. You apply some tools and techniques. A fair understanding of process under control, out of control, cause and effect, Pareto. We'll be talking about these tools and techniques right now. So fair understanding will enable you to improve any process or do the work, whatever work you are doing, to do that work in a better way. You can do that. You can easily implement this knowledge on your day-to-day operations, and people will see the difference. They'll say, hey, I think your way of working has changed. Your reports will improve. Your box plots, scatter plots, regression equations, all these things will, they will be like, people will think as if you have done some data analytics course or artificial intelligence course from somewhere. And you can always say, yeah, of course. So that's the bottom-up approach. Now, you do a project or you use those tools, change the way the organization is working, and people might, your middle management or senior management might encourage you to, say, well, whatever you're doing, I really liked it, and we'd like to implement these tools and techniques. So this is bottoms-up approach. Either way, if I want to transform the organization, that's what we have done in so many companies. Let me describe the basic 4 to 5 steps of Lean Six Sigma implementation before I go to the tools in detail, before I go to the box plots and scatter plots, and before I tell you how to create your regression equations. Let me talk about, and I'll give some examples of some companies, how we have done in different companies. So that will be like storyline sort of thing. In the next 15 minutes, I will tell you how Lean Six Sigma is implemented in an organization. So this is like management related aspect of our So when you are implementing something, go back. Implementation roadmap. Yeah. So we are here at the implementation roadmap. Okay. After that, I'll introduce you to the basics. So we create a group of people, trained green belts, black belts in the organization, and they choose the projects from various departments. And we also engage the senior management. We create a steering committee, the CEO and the top 4-5 people in the organization. And they will be monitoring the whole initiative. And one person, quality manager, quality head, or any person who's really enthusiastic about quality, he can become one person. We can designate him as the quality leader. We choose a project like loan processing time to be taken up, project to be taken by Mr. A, the account opening time to be taken by Mr. B. I have done in Riyadh Bank. I would have loved to show. I'll just try to search for those Riyadh Bank project. If towards the end, if we have enough time, I'll show you 1 or 2 Riyadh Bank projects. If not, I will have talked enough about Lean Six Sigma and finance that you would have fairly understood what Lean Six Sigma can do to financial companies and any. See, not necessarily it can be oil industry, finance team of oil industry. It can be in Deloitte. We did what was the very drastically changed their whole process. VAT filing time taken to file the VAT returns. They're so happy. They were almost compliance was 100% after the project. They did same tools and techniques which you are going to learn. So VAT filing was a very. I never thought that VAT filing would be such a. They used to say this was our dream project. Okay. So just to tell you, then what we have implemented Lean Six Sigma in the organization, we have allocated the projects. Yellow belts are the people like you who know the tools and techniques, who have a fair understanding of what is Lean Six Sigma, but they can't do a project. You have not practiced anything. So green belts are the people who know these tools and techniques, who have practiced, and we make the people do a virtual project. We tell, okay, loan processing time. This is the bank. This is the data from a bank. Please reduce this loan processing time. We are giving you X factors, make a cause and effect, make a Pareto, make a box plot, make a scatter plot, do a chi-square test, do an ANOVA, do a regression analysis. Now we give the data and they virtually do this project in the classroom and become a green belt. And the same thing happens to black belt. We give them extra high-end tools, some high-end statistical tools. And master black belts are the people who can roll out Lean Six Sigma. People who are interested, running the whole initiative within the organization, heading this whole Lean Six Sigma initiative in the organization. They would be called as master black belts. So first, that's what I insist. Whichever company. Right now, I'm doing for Miral. Miral is owning Gas Island, Warner Brothers, Ferrari World, and Abu Dhabi, that theme park areas. So many of them are there. So we are implementing there. So first thing, what we insist is, like same thing we did in UAE Exchange, or when we did in Riyadh Bank. I invited all the CEO and the senior management. And it depends on the organization. So this was a European Novartis. Novartis is a company, a pharmaceutical company in Switzerland. So we invite the senior managers or the topmost managers, and if they are interested, we play a game. Otherwise, I do a 3-hour, 4-hour module, just like the way I'm doing it, but purely without talking about tools and techniques, or sometimes talking about tools and techniques if they are willing to learn. And so this was a game which we played. This was we played a game. They were allocated some job they need to complete within 5 minutes, and they assume that 4 people sitting in the 4 corners of the customer, they are giving them jobs, and they were not able to complete in 5 minutes, and they are also committed a lot of mistakes. Then we did some implemented those tools and techniques. And after implementing these tools and techniques, they were able to see the difference. So that means they get convinced. First, they should get convinced. The senior management should get convinced. After that, only they will understand what is green belt and black belt implementation. Once we do we have created an infrastructure. Once we have trained the people, now I tell the senior managers, please nominate your green belts and black belts, your high performers whom you trust. Sometimes the department heads, they themselves become a green belts and black belts. They also become the CEO of Akshay Patra, Sridhar. Akshay Patra is a very, I think many of you might be knowing, they're feeding a lot of school children. So he attended whole training. And a lot of health minister of Saudi Arabia, he attended the whole black belt training. CEO of Nakel, one of the companies in the biggest logistics companies of Saudi Arabia, health minister of UAE. So sometimes it can be anyone. It doesn't mean that it has to be only managers and junior executives. So we invite them, and then we allocate those projects, and then we start the training the way we are doing it. Well, I just for fun, I'll just tell you. So when we are
1, 2, 3. Anti-Muda. And your slogan. 1, 2, 3. Green air go. Okay. And your song.
so what we are doing here is, whenever you form a team undergoes 5 stages: forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. So we are doing forming and storming and norming, so that the thing happens during the session itself, so the team is ready to perform once the training is done. So we are having some fun, a little bit of having their slogan and this and that. So it is also important. And this is Al Futem finance team. Al Futem finance team. So this is, they did 32 projects. 42 projects. Yeah, 42 projects. And they also won the Y Quality Award, etc. So, and then this is National Healthcare Service in UK. So here, once you complete your project, now these green belts have completed projects, these black belts have completed the projects. Now they have to present their project to the CEO or the senior manager. And once they present,
Alex with us, and he has done excellent Lean and Six Sigma projects in
now he's
National Healthcare
presenting.
Service
Once he is presented,
and in
we hand over the
hospitals.
certificate.
So, Alex, would you like to tell us something about it?
Hello, I'm Alex Wells, Head of Service Improvements at the Royal
Anyway,
University.
I'll not play the whole video, but yeah, this one might be, yeah. So this here also, 2011 to 2012 we implemented, and Rajiv Patel, he's also, I think he's a chartered accountant.
Hi, my name is Rajiv. I work with Bank Muscat at Oman, and Anexas consultancy led by Amitabh have helped us in the Lean Six Sigma journey since the last 1 year. We've had multiple projects cutting across.
So anyway, we also did a lot of projects. So companies transform. The companies, this is another company, logistics. So some companies just stop at 1 year, 2 years. Some companies can't keep on doing, like this company is into their 10th year. Again, they also had a lot of benefits. They even started their European
My name is
operations.
Mohammed Al-Bayati. I'm the CEO of NAPL. Through Anexas, Mr.
So
Amitabh
these are the kinds of
teach me and more than 1,000 employees of NAPL.
So these are the kinds of transformations you see in the organizations. And as I said, I started in 2003. I was involved in AXA, implementation of AXA, Lean Six Sigma implementation. Until today, they are following that. It has been now 17, 18 years. They're still following that. So this is like an ongoing journey. Now let us talk about basic statistics. I told you, I'll not leave you like that. You're accountants. You have to, you should know. So do you agree with this? There are 2 types of data. Some can be measured, some cannot be measured. Do you agree with this?
Yes.
Okay, some people say yes, agree. But yeah, as a green belt and black belt, we train you not to agree with this. Why? Because you have to believe that you can't improve if you cannot measure. And the second thing is you can measure everything. How can you measure everything? By two types of data. When we talk about data, people say, I don't collect the data, or I don't want to give you the data. They don't say like that, but they don't give you the data. Why should I give you my data? You'll make a nice report and present to the CEO and tell about my inefficiency. I'll not give you the data. I don't have time. I don't collect. That's what another response can be. But here, to overcome the resistance of data, reporting, if I tell the people that I'm here to reduce your errors, reduce your times, cycle times, I'm here to reduce your customer satisfaction in your company, then people will be willing to give you the data. So you have to tell the people why they need the data. Second thing, we have too much of it, but I don't know what to do. Oh, reports after reports, and a lot of data is there. Please collect whatever you want to collect. Analysis is too complex. I'm not the mathematics person anyway. Chartered accountants will not say like that, but like in hospitals, a lot of hospitals are our clients. Oh, no, we are not. Like I did not. I became a physician or doctor because I hated maths, they would say. But now, by understanding some basic statistics, you can overcome this kind of mindset. What? Continuous and attribute, there are two types of data. So whenever you feel that something cannot be measured, probably it is attribute data. So let us look at that kind of data. I hope I'm sharing my screen.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So there are two types of data. Continuous data and attribute data. Continuous data can be represented on a number line. Continuous data can be represented on a number line. I think someone is on mute. So any number is possible. Like some examples would include loan processing time. Loan processing time. Account opening time in a bank. Okay. Or some age or aging or receivables, all these things. Why? Loan processing time is 7.2 days. Account opening time is, let's say, 60.5 minutes. My age is 52.5 years. So what is a common thing here? You have a possibility of a decimal. You have a unit. But the things which you feel cannot be measured, there's so many things which you feel cannot be measured. They come under attribute data, and you can measure them as attribute data. Attribute. How can you measure? By creating categories. Always you will get a category. And then categories, the data can be collected. It can be counted. And then you will have proportion. Very important to know, later on we see, because the type of analysis you will be doing depends on the type of data. For continuous, you use different tools. For attribute, you use different tools. Combination of continuous and attribute, different tool. Combination of continuous and continuous, different tool. Combination of attribute and attribute, different tool. So all combinations have got different tools. You can't use histogram in place of bar chart in place of Pareto. You can't interchange that. Let us take an example. Many people, when I ask, okay, can you tell me anything which cannot be measured? Very, very difficult to measure. And something, just give me any example. We'll create a measure. Easiest way to create a measure of anything is write that attribute and then create a category. Simplest way of creating a category is binary in nature. Binary means presence or absence of that particular category. Like suppose someone says, I cannot measure happiness. Let's say, I'm just taking an example, then you can also give your example. I want to measure happiness. Easiest way to create a category is presence or absence of that particular attribute. Happy, unhappy. Happy, 60 people in my employees are happy, 40 are unhappy out of 100. Proportion of happy employees, proportion of unhappy employees. Now I can increase the happiness of my employees. Why? Because I have measured. Now I know I stand at 60%. Don't think it is continuous data. 0.6 is appears to be decimal, but it is a proportion. It's a ratio. It's a proportion. It's a count. Actually, you can't have 60.1 happy people, happy employees. 60.1 is not possible. So it is a count. It is also known as discrete data. This is discrete count, discrete data. 60, 40, 41, or 42, or 43. So there are two types of data. Continuous data, attribute data. Attribute data, happiness, unhappy, happy. It can be counted as a discrete data. It will not have a decimal place. It doesn't have a unit. That is why it becomes attribute data. Now, whatever you want to improve, or you have to put a measure. And if you think something cannot be measured, try it as attribute. Try this trick. Happiness, pain, emotions. Emotion, you can have categories like happy, sad, angry. Now, like Facebook is able to measure, happy, sad, angry. How many people felt happy? How many liked it? How many? All emotions. It's measuring your emotions. So, job satisfaction. Yes, job satisfaction. Very good. Job satisfaction. I can have 3 categories. Happy, neutral, like a Mahatma, well, doesn't matter. I'm neutral. Jo hoga dekha jayega, I'm fine. Or I'm unhappy. Yeah, I'm unhappy. Yeah. Now you'll say, how can I be? See, whenever you're trying to improve efficiency, yes, efficiency is also attribute data. Efficient, not efficient. Very important. See, otherwise people call it as continuous data. Efficiency, efficient, not efficient. Okay, let me write it properly. Going down, this becomes a little difficult to write. Yeah. The efficiency, yes, you're right. Efficient, inefficient. My employees, let us say, how many efficient, how many inefficient. Efficiency percentage always, like 70% efficiency is actually giving you 2 categories. 70 is efficient and 30 is not efficient. Please remember, whenever there is a percentage, it is actually giving you 2 categories. Yeah. Compliance, compliant, not compliant. Yes, compliance percent, compliance, not compliant. These are all attribute data. Now, continuous data, you can make the histogram and get your average and standard deviations, which we saw. My account opening time in a bank, on an average, this, like for example, if I want to, let's say I'm just showing this mini tab as a green belt. You learn this actually mini tab. So I've got account opening time in a bank, Rajman Bank actually. Basic statistics. I can just do account opening time. And I can see that this is a histogram. Average is 79 or 80 minutes. Standard deviation is around 20 minutes. So I can predict 80, 100, 120, 140 minutes. And here on this, like 80, 20 left side will become 60, 40, and 20. So this is the variation of my account opening time. Average is 80 minutes. Standard deviation is 20 minutes. Okay. And then I'll not go into the details of the 95% confidence band of the mean or average. It's too early to talk about that, but it's very much easy to do all these calculations. Once you have got softwares, these softwares are you can We train you in this software. These all downloadable software. We provide you free. During your sessions. So I've got my now. This is descriptive statistics. This is just telling you. This describing. Telling you. This describing how you are performing. Okay. It is not telling you why you are performing like that. Why you are taking too much time. No, it is not telling you that. You can make your control chart also. Here, happy, unhappy, job satisfaction. Individually, if you're talking about, even for one particular job, sometimes you are happy, not happy. Collect the data every day. Rate yourself. Today I am happy. In 130 days, how many times I am happy, how many times not happy. You can always do this job satisfaction on yourself as well. And today, and this month data indicates that 60% of the time I'm unhappy with the job. I will like to improve the job satisfaction. What are the X factors? Why I'm unhappy? Find out the root causes. Do a Pareto, do a box plot, everything, whatever we are going to learn. You can do same tools and techniques you can apply to anything. So coming back, for attribute data, you can't make a histogram. You can make a pie chart, like job satisfaction of all my employees. 20% are, let's say, 25% are unhappy. 20 are neutral, and remaining are 55% are happy. Or a bar chart. Happy, unhappy, neutral. Yeah. You can make the different chart, or you can make a Pareto chart also. Wilfredo Pareto was an Italian economist who found that 80% of the wealth in Italy, money in Italy, was with 20% of the people. So he applied this to Joseph Juran applied this equality, and he said that 80% of your problems, like this loan processing time, 80% of your delay in loan processing time would be due to only 20% of the causes. So if you've listed 10 causes of your delayed loan processing, only 20% of them, like out of 10, 2 will be responsible for your most delays. Work on that. Like this bank, you can make a cause and effect diagram. If I were to make it for our, say, skills, experience, method, documents are not okay, documents are not okay, documents are not okay. Okay, I'll just put some causes. Material, I see docs will come here maybe. And missing documents, measurement, no KPIs, etc. You can list down, this is a brainstorming session which we conduct. Cause and effect diagram, we call it as cause and effect diagram, fishbone diagram, also known as Ishikawa diagram. Cause and effect diagram, fishbone diagram, Ishikawa diagram. Remember this. Cause and effect diagram, fishbone diagram, Ishikawa diagram. Again, I can quickly make it, although I have not filled in all the details, but just imagine as if I have filled in. It's very easy to make it. A delayed audit report, or what I have made it. Environment, okay. Environment spelling is okay, but I'll just put something, right? Okay. Let us see if it works. Yeah. So I can make a cause. So I list down all the causes. Best is that you invite people. Invite the department. Tell us why the loan processing is delayed. People will give all sorts of ideas. List down. Welcome all the ideas. When you are brainstorming, invite every idea. Don't evaluate the idea. One of the important things of brainstorming is either for causes or for solutions is don't evaluate, don't criticize, don't praise, appreciate also. Just someone is giving an idea, just accept it as it is. So using those methods, we make a cause and effect diagram. We also do let's say, list down the reasons. like account opening time, why it was delayed. First loan or like here in this case, account opening, because processing time was delayed, uploading time was delayed, processing time, approval time, staff absent, knowledge. So we are listing down all the causes for each of those, loan processing or account opening in this case. And I can do a Pareto chart. Most of you might be knowing Pareto. I'm not explaining that. So Pareto will tell you that, well, in our session, I do a manual calculation and explain all these charts in detail. So documentation is contributing to 40%. Processing time is contributing to 29%. And the first two together, the cumulative, 41 plus for 29, 70%. So first 3-4 are contributing to almost 80-90%. I'll focus on these 3-4 and forget the rest. ABC analysis also done. Yeah. You're aware of all these things, Okay. Then I have got, now I will validate. It's a scientific investigation. It's not like, well, I thought processing time. You can't blame anyone. You have to, everything should be data based, data oriented. So further collect the data. Okay, what are my suspects? Processing time is my suspect. Okay, let us see. Processing time is my suspect. Processing time for this application was 40 minutes. Signature scanning took 10 minutes. Documentation was not available at the first time. And the location was this. And account opening time took this much time. So I've collected the data. Now I want to validate. So some rules are there, data analytics rules. If you remember, we saw y is function of x, right? The y, x. Now x, there are different combinations. Y can be continuous data, x can be attribute data. Or y can be continuous data, x can be continuous data. Like for example, account opening time and let's say staff available, not available. Or the location. Location is an attribute data. Here, there are 3 cities, location, attribute. All these things are, if I want to, find the relationship between whether my loan processing or account opening, in this case, account opening is affected by the location. Attribute and continuous combination, I will use a chart, which we call it as, let me first tell you, many of you are aware of this continuous type. So let me tell you that first. My account opening time is dependent on one of the X factor is, let us say, let me take as processing time or signature scanning time. So processing time, let us say, back office processing or processing of my application. So if it is continuous and continuous, so here processing time. And here it is, say, loan processing or your account opening time. Yeah, account opening time. If I find a relationship, a positive relationship, I can get a Pearson correlation coefficient also, which lies between -1 to +1. And I can get a p-value also. I won't go into the details of the p-value right now. No, not so much. So you can even find an equation also. Y is equal to a plus bx. Regression equation also you can find. Like time taken to process a loan or time taken to open an account. It's dependent on some number, 20 plus something and multiplied by time taken to process. So these things are very much visible. These things are very much available to you. Account opening time, positive relation, or it can be sometimes no relation also. Yeah. and you can get a regression equation. When I am dealing with one continuous and one attribute data, like here my account opening time is Y is continuous data, and my X factor is, let's say, location. Location A, location B. I can't use a scatter plot. So location A, it's taking less time. Location B is taking more time. That means location is important factor. But if I get something values like this, we call it actually box plot. This data is coming as a box plot. We call it a box plot here. If the data looks like this, I'll say, sorry, there is no relationship between the location and the time. So we are validating, and then we also do hypothesis tests. Based on few samples, 30, 40 samples, you can predict about the large population. The way we have now vaccinations, how they are tested. Just tested on 200, 300 people, and they predict about the 6 billion people. They are coming from those hypothesis technique, proportion, chi-square test, ANOVA, analysis of variance. So here, you like instead of attribute, when you have attribute and continuous data, you'll use analysis of variance. When you have attribute and attribute data, you'll use chi-square. So these tools are actually depending on the combinations which you are dealing with. Okay. Say for just to show you one, I hope I'm sharing my screen right now. Yeah, I'm sharing the screen. So in this case, let us say I want to see account opening time. Is it it is affected by the processing time? Let us see. Let us do a scatter plot. And even regression equation also I can do. If I want, I can do a regression equation also. Appears to be, yeah. And I can even do a regression. And similarly, I can do for others as well. It's very just one or two clicks, you can start analyzing your reports. So you see all your data in your company is either continuous or attribute. So you learn all the tools, how to analyze any data once once you're the powerful tool actually, this account opening time and processing time. Let us see. 40 plus 0.98 or almost 1 processing time. So 40 minutes is spent on something else, and whatever you spend, if you spend 10 minutes, add 10 minutes to that. So you'll get regression equations, and your company, all processes have their equations. Just collect, just needs to collect 30, 40 samples, 10, 20 samples, and you'll get your regression equations. And you can start predicting about your processes if you want to improve your processes. And even the artificial intelligence actually is nothing but making regression equation based on the data. You keep on taking data, keep more data, feed more data. It will increase the strength of the prediction equation, and you will start, after some time, machine will start telling you. It can start predicting. Oh, next week you are going to commit 2 mistakes. Next week you are going to, it's likely given these conditions, you're likely to commit this kind of mistake. Given this condition, all these things you will be always. So all these things, you can generate using this kind of analysis. Now coming back to the project, which I was thinking of showing it to you. So this was a company. Of course, this was company's names there already. So when you are doing a project, you create first a team, then you create a project charter. Project charter, you write a problem statement. What exactly is the problem? You write a goal statement. And once you have problem statement and goal statement, and you write the milestones of the project timelines. Then in the measure phase, you collect the data. So you make a data collection plan. You will be collecting the data on Y as well as X factors, Y and X factors. So measure phase, define phase, measure phase. Measure phase means you are telling the world, how are you performing? So you get your averages, you get your means and averages times. Then you calculate the sigma level. Now, sigma level, it requires a lot of explanation. So I'm not giving too much details here. But higher the sigma level, better is your quality. And lower the sigma level, worse is your quality. So if you are at 6 sigma, you are making only 3 defects in 1 million opportunities. And if you are at like, say, 1.5 sigma, 50% errors you are making. So as the errors reduce, sigma level increases. As the defects reduce, sigma level increases. As the quality improves, sigma level increases. So usually you collect the data and you find your sigma levels. Then in the analyze phase, you map your process. As is process, do a Gemba investigation. Then you can apply ESCAP technique. As eliminate, simplify, combine, automate, and parallel. Can I see every step you ask these 5 questions. At least you can do this tomorrow. At least this can be one take home. Very easy method. Map the process, ask 5 questions on each step. Can I eliminate it? Can I combine it? Can I automate it? Can I make it in parallel? You will come out with a nice new process in the next 2 hours. It's very, very powerful technique. So you do a as-is process mapping analysis. What is the value added? What is non-value added? All the process steps you find out. Then you eliminate the non-value added steps. Make a cause and effect diagram. What is the issue? Classify all the cause and effect diagram and control impact metrics. What is in control? What is out of control? Make a Pareto chart, make box plots. So finally, you do a root cause analysis. Based on that root cause analysis, you offer solutions. And once you offer the solutions, you will be able to you come out with a new a process. You offer some solutions. Here we have used the Toyota technique of cellular manufacturing, where we introduce the flowed in the whole processing unit. So it will take a lot of time to describe that, but just to tell you that you come out with the solutions, because now you know the root cause. And once you know the root cause, then you can see the improvements in any process. So this is known as DMAIC. C means control phase. Control phase means you would like to hold the gains. Now you have reduced your loan processing time, you have reduced your account processing time, opening time. Once you have done that, you would like to now hold the gains for a long, long time. You not like to go back to your original state. So now you have reasons to not be afraid of data analysts anyway. Chartered accountants are never afraid of data. They like data. We saw the Y is function of X. Y is like the output, X is the inputs. Focus on X factors. Don't focus only on Y. Then we also saw the different rules of data analysis. If it is continuous data, single column, then I used histogram or a graphical technique. If it is an attribute data, I used a Pareto chart, the reasons, if you remember. If a combination of continuous and attribute was there, I used a box plot. If a continuous scatter plot, and if it's an attribute, I use a Pareto chart. And then we saw the define phase, define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. There are other tools also used in define phase, like SIPOC. SIPOC means supplier input, process, output, and customer. SIPOC. Company wanted to reduce the recruitment cycle time. So yeah. So first we map the process, the high level process map, SIPOC, supplier input, process, output, and customer. What happens is it's like a systems map. It's a 50,000 feet view of the process map. Because see, in Lean Six Sigma, we believe that the problems are not in the people. problems are in the process. 85% of the problems are caused by the processes and only 15% is contributed by the people. So when you are looking at process improvement, you have to always think in terms of process. It's easy to change the process, difficult to change the people. Either way, replacing people is difficult, or even changing the people from within. I remember when I came to Bahrain, like 2012, after 25 years or so, I was meeting my school friend. So he was working in a bank, because so many banks are there in Bahrain. So after meeting him, after 30 years, 20, 25 years, after having dinner with him, he tells me that you are the same person. And I also told him, you appear to be the same person. Now, after 25 years, after I've acquired so many degrees and photographs and this and that, so many things I've done this and that. And he has also what a very good position in a very big financial institution. I'm telling you are the same person. He's telling, I'm the same person. So difficult to change the person. You'll not be able to change the person. It's a mistake if you think I will bring a motivational speaker and he will motivate my team to perform better. No, not going to happen. Change the process. Map the process. Remove non-value added activities. Give this new process to the same people. They will deliver miraculous performance. Easy to change the process, difficult to change the people. Difficult. You'll never be able to change the people. Same people, in a different company, different environment, different country, they start performing in a different way. Why? Because of the system, because of the process. So here we identify the system, SIPOC, basic 5 to 6 process steps, inputs. And actually these are my X factors. The measures on the inputs, measures on the output, these are the X factors. And I will find, and of course the measure on this will be the Y factor. So I make a SIPOC, and then after that, of course, I make a project charter. And what I wanted to show you was, so you again, like measure phase, you collect the data, calculate the sigma level, map the process. And here they have invited people, all the people, to brainstorm on the causes. So they collect the causes, they do a Pareto analysis on that. And then after doing a Pareto, they generate ideas. No idea is a bad idea. Lot of rules are there. We teach you like 635 brainstorm, like lots of different idea generation tools, out of the box thinking. These are all toolkits, So 635 techniques. So they generate lots of solutions, and once they generate solutions, they come out with the lot of improvements, and then they are able to hold the gains. DMAIC, define, measure, analyze, implement, control. That's what happens in a DMAC project.